Acquiring the appropriate attitude. Your attitude affects how you interact with an object, a person, or in a particular situation. Having a good attitude will ensure you approach tasks in the appropriate way. For example, being courteous and attentive to a customer's needs, even when you've got many other jobs to do. You might feel like they're an interruption to your day. You might feel like there's pressure from the boss to stack certain stock or whatever, but putting the customer first and having a positive and friendly attitude is important for that interaction to go well and them not to feel like they're getting the brush off or they're not important in your time. So putting it all together, knowledge is the first step, and this is what we gather largely, and at least in what we're talking about here, through training, returning to study. So what you learn in the training room, in your readings, those sorts of contexts. Putting it all into practice is the second step. So this is work placement as part of your training often, or practice in as real life a situation as practical. The things like the making of coffees in the training room, the first aid, practicing on dummies and working through different role play scenarios that we talked about in the last presentation. Those training room practice type situations. A correct attitude will ensure that your knowledge and skills are used appropriately. And this is down to you, but you can do things to develop your positive attitude also. For example, let's look at the example of responding to a first aid emergency. The knowledge required will include current first aid techniques, where to find equipment, and how it's used. The skills required include knowing how and when to use the different techniques and the equipment in different scenarios. The right attitude will include appropriate interaction with the right person, explaining what you're doing, respecting their wishes, such as if they say they don't want to receive first aid, and putting safety, both your own and others around, first, doing the appropriate checks of the area, electrical hazards, gas, potential drug user being the patient, those sorts of things. About is having the personal skills, the interpersonal skills that go with the knowledge and skills that you've developed in order to use them in a professional way and a mature way and an appropriate way for the industry, the workplace, or the situation that you find yourself in.